Hi, this is Terry Coakley.
Good evening, everyone. This is Master Coordinator Joanne Nistico and Terry Coakley, and we're very privileged this evening to host some very special people who are true leaders in the Shaklee world, and we're very thankful that they've agreed to participate on this Winning Wednesday. We're calling them Winning Wednesdays. Every second Monday of the month, we are hosting a special guest speaker who will introduce our Shaklee fellow friends and family an understanding of how great this Shaklee business model is. We all know how great and fabulous our Shaklee products are. Many of us have testimonies and results from our products, and I myself find that the business is one of my favorite products, because it has given our families so much in the sense of being a strong family together that can live in financially secure and economically stable, and that's what Barb and Ray are going to be talking about tonight. I'd first like to introduce Barb Madoran, and like many of the Shaklee businesses, they're started by the women, and then as the men realize what a great opportunity is, they decide to join us. So Barb started their Shaklee business, and she has an interesting story. She's been very successful, and I think, Barb, the car was a motivation for you when you, besides good health. So everybody, let's hear from Barb Madoran.
Hi, thanks, Joanne. Yeah, I fell in love with the products. It's 43 years ago this month, actually 44, but became a member 43 years ago. And like Joy, I had an amazing health experience that really made me pay attention to what Shaklee products offered. And what I did, I went to weekly meetings, and at the end of the meeting, they'd always flip a little chart, and they'd talk about the comp plan. And one of the things that I saw in there was that it was possible to qualify for a car. And I had made the decision, our boys were 2 and 4, that I wanted to be home with them until they were old enough to be in school, and then I was going to go back to work. But car-wise, I was driving, I became a member in 1974. I was driving a 61 Chevrolet Corvair, so 13 years old. The bottom was rusted out so you could see the road. The headliner was hanging. There was no air conditioning. We were living in Phoenix. And Ray drove the good car because he was the one that was going to work. And so when I saw that that was possible, I thought, wow. And when I had my health experience, and for me it had to do with headaches that I'd had for 12 or 13 years, and that really woke me up to the possibilities of what these products offered, I thought, my gosh. So I started talking to people locally. My parents became our first directors. My dad was looking for a plan B for when he was ready to retire down the line. Then I called back to the Midwest where we'd grown up, and I talked to relatives there and said, I've gotten involved in this. None of them knew what it was. Could I come out and talk to you and your friends about what we have to offer? So that's how the business started. And then over the years, Ray would say many, many times, when you get to a certain level, then I'll join you in the business. And it never happened. And in the beginning, and for quite a while, I was really discouraged by that because I thought, it'd really be nice to try and work together. But then I got to the point where I thought, he's really good at what he does. I'm really good at what I do. And we can both be happy doing the things that we love. And then about 6 years ago, he decided to make a change. He'd been retired for quite a while and decided to join me in the business. And it's been interesting getting to know, the dynamic of that, because we each have our strengths and our weaknesses. But as you'll hear tonight, he's gotten really good, particularly at the business perspective. So, Joanne, I'll turn it back to you.
Thank you, Barb. And I know the car program was very exciting to me as well. And Ray was a VP for a global human resources company. And after studying the compensation plan, he realized how it was so valuable and what the worth and the time and the effort to participate in it would develop a very sizable annuity income. And he got fascinated with and was amazed by the multiple streams of income that we have through our Shaklee business model. And so many of us, so many women especially, love the products, can talk about the products, but feel a little bit more challenged with explaining and understanding the sales plan. So, Ray, I want to thank you once again for beginning this evening to share the comp plan for our new people. We have many new people on the phone tonight, and we congratulate them for their smart choice, and others that have been in the business a while. So, Ray, we're going to turn it over to you.
Oh, thanks, Joanne. I really appreciate it, and it's a privilege to be on tonight on your webinar. You know, I was thinking today between Barb and you and Terry and the Sherapins, you guys have probably forgotten more about Shaklee than I'll ever know because I've only been involved for the last 6 years. But let me tell you my story. I spent 33 years in the corporate world. I was in the semiconductor high-tech industry. Worked for a lot of different semiconductor companies like Intel Corporation for 5 years and VLSI Technology, just a host of them, Sperry Flight Systems, Digital Equipment Corporation. So just a lot of high-tech companies, all in human resources. I knew early on that I wanted to run my own organization. And you know, I would talk to some of the people that I worked with, my peers, and they would always say things like, you know, it's going to be hard to become a vice president in human resources because there's a lot of HR people, but there's only a few VP jobs out there. So, you know, our chances aren't real good. And I would think, you know, hey, maybe not for you, but I'm going to be a vice president. I'm going to run my own organization. That was my goal. That was my vision. That's what I wanted to do, and nothing was going to stop me from that. Failure wasn't going to be an option. And I quit talking to my peers about it, and I started talking to VP of Human Resources. I wanted to find out, you know, what was your day like? What did you do to prepare? How did you decide that you wanted to be a VP? And when you did, what kind of things did you have to do differently than you did before you were running your own organization? And then I started talking to CEOs. I don't know if many of you remember a guy by the name of Andy Grove. He was the CEO of Intel Corporation. I knew Andy really well. I supported the sales organization in North America, and then I was the coordinator for all of sales and marketing worldwide, so I had a lot of contact with Andy. I went by his office one day, and I looked in. He was sitting there, and I said, "Hey, Andy," I said, "do you have a minute?" He said, "Yeah, sure, come on in." So I came in, I sat down, and I said, "I want to be a vice president of human resources." He said, "I already have one." I said, No, I know that. I want to know what you're looking for. What are you looking for in a VP of human resources? What kind of things do I need to get into my bag of tricks that I'm going to be ready to become a vice president when my time comes? And so I'll know what to do. Andy talked for about a half an hour just on things that he thought that I ought to be doing, things I ought to be learning, experiences that I ought to have, and stuff like that. So I wanted to be ready. I did the same thing when I joined Barb in the Shaklee business. I didn't talk to people who were just coming up in Shaklee. I talked to master coordinators, you know, like Joanne and Terry, you know, like Alan and Hannah, like you know, different people, Carolyn Whiteman and Roland Osterhaus. Gary Burke is a good friend, and Gary spent a lot of time with me. They winter here in Scottsdale, and we play golf together, and he comes over and with Faye, and we barbecue and stuff. And Gary talked 45 minutes one day while we were barbecuing on just what he did, how he did it, all the things he went through. So I think that's really important to find out, you know, who are you talking to is really, really important to find out what it is you need to do to be successful in this business. So anyway, let me get on with my story, and that is that I finally had my chance with a startup company called Xilinx, Xilinx. It was a startup company in the semiconductor arena. And they had interviewed 7 people. I was the 8th person interviewed, and I got the job. I was ready. I knew I was going to get this job. I just knew it because I had planned for it, and I was ready, and it came true. And let me give you an idea of what a startup is and what happened in 10 years, because we were just wildly successful. I mean, wildly successful, which doesn't happen all the time with startup companies. But we had 72 employees. We were doing about $18 million a year in sales, and I had one person in human resources in my organization. Fast forward 10 years, when I retired, we went from 72 employees to 2,400 employees. We went from $18 million of sales to $1.6 billion, and I had 105 people in my organization worldwide. So it was quite a ride for that 10 years. It was just absolutely amazing. And what it allowed me to do was to retire at an early age, and that was 55. So, that's the success that I had, and that's great. But, it isn't all great, because I traveled a lot. I put 2.5 million miles on American Airlines. I was working 10, 12-hour days. You do that in a startup. You do that in the semiconductor industry. I didn't see my kids grow up. Barb raised our boys. I missed a lot of things, birthdays sometimes, soccer games, school activities. So, there's a downside to the success you have in the corporate world as well. And I said, well, at least if I retire now, I can spend some time with Barb, which I hadn't been able to do for the last 30-some years. So we left Silicon Valley, San Jose, California. We moved back to Arizona, to Scottsdale. And I had, like Barb said, I had said, one of these days when things get to a point, I'm going to join you in the business. Well, I never did. I played golf 4, 5, 6 days a week. Then I played golf 3 or 4 days a week, then 2 or 3 days a week. I got a little bit bored. I went back to Silicon Valley. I did some consulting with some startup companies back there. That lasted about another 4 years. And then I said, I gotta take a look at this. I promised her I would at least take a look at this business, and I really need to do that. So I said, Barb, I'm gonna sit down and really take a look at this business. And I don't know if she believed me or not, but I had to say to myself, why am I not doing this? Why am I not joining her in the business? And I had to really think about it. And what I'm going to tell you, some of you are going to think this is just awful. I know you will, but it's just being honest, is that I was a senior level executive in Silicon Valley, and I really couldn't see myself selling vitamins. I mean, that's just the truth. Because I thought what Barb did was to sell vitamins, skincare, and household cleaners. And guess what? That's exactly what Barb was doing. She was selling vitamins, skincare, and household cleaners. But when I really sat down to see exactly what she was doing and the organization that she was building, which really surprised me how big it was at that point, and what I really found out is that Barb was changing people's lives. Her organization was changing people's lives from a health standpoint, from a financial standpoint. They were giving people the opportunity to have a lifestyle that they could only dream about. And when I saw that, I said, I'm in. And then the next thing I did was I took a look at the Shaklee compensation plan. And I said, OMG, this is amazing. There is so many streams of income that associated with this comp plan. If you only did half of them, you can't help but make money. So I really learned the sales plan. I know the sales plan, really know the sales plan. And I, as part of my strategy starting last year, was I would ask people in our organization things about the sales plan, and most of the time I would get, and I knew they didn't have a clue. Now, they knew the basics. If I have volume, I'm going to get I'm going to make some money off of the volume that I have, and kind of thing from Shaklee. I said, okay. So I said, okay. So all of our sales leaders, I'm putting through this presentation you're going to see tonight. And the other thing I started doing probably the first of the year was that new people coming in, I invited their spouses to sit in on the sales plan that I was going to be presenting. Now, if they wanted to join their spouse in the business, great. But that wasn't really the real reason why I was doing it. I wanted them to understand what the opportunity and the possibilities were with what their spouse was looking at. I never say involved in. You say involved in to a spouse, and they're going to go, hey, what are you getting involved in? No, what they're looking at. That's what and I didn't have any problem getting the husbands. I'm saying husbands because 85% of our sales leaders are female. So mainly it was the husbands that I was inviting on the call. And I got some really great feedback from them. I had one husband say to me, Ray, I had no idea. I had no idea that there was this possibility with this sales plan and with this Shaklee business. I just didn't know. And I really appreciate that you went through this with us. And this is going to be a plan B for us. I want my wife to really go for this. I wanted to go for it and make it a plan B for us down the road. I need to work now, but I want this to be a plan B. And what it did when these spouses, when they saw the possibilities and the opportunity there, is that they started to really support their spouse a lot more. The support went up 10x. And their effectiveness went up 10x in the process because now their spouse is saying, "Hey, go for it. I understand this thing now. I'm going to support you. I'll do what I can. I've got to work, but I'll do what I can to help you." So that has really worked well, and it's fun talking to the husbands now about the Shaklee business and about the sales plan. So. Without further ado, why don't we go ahead and get started on this sales plan, and we'll start the presentation whenever you are ready, Mr. Scott.
You're right there. I'm looking for your Twitter. There you are.
Oh, good.
All right. Well, thank you for sharing your story, Ray. As we wait for the presentation to come up on the screen, I hadn't heard your whole story, so I really enjoyed it.
Great.
It's nice to hear your great successes, and I'm sure that you're loving the Shaklee business. Here we go.
All right. Can everybody see this thing that says "see the numbers"?
Yes.
Okay, great. All right. Very different from the corporate world. You cannot be successful in the Shaklee business, in this business, unless you help other people be successful first. I love that. I just absolutely love this. And our business rewards you for helping others. And our business partner Shaklee has paid out over $7 billion in commissions since 1960. And I'm not just talking to a few people. I'm talking to a lot of people in the Shaklee field that have made a lot of money in Shaklee. If you've ever gone to a global conference and you've walked across and you see people walking across the stage that are $1 million earners in Shaklee, it takes about they don't stop. They just walk across. It takes about 25 minutes for 2,000 or more people that have made over $1 million in their career in Shaklee just to walk across the stage. So it isn't just a few people. There are a lot of people in Shaklee making a lot of money. It is there for you. So, this is not a product presentation, but isn't it neat that we are associated with a company, we've partnered with a company whose products make you feel better, look better, and live healthier. It just doesn't get any better than that. Now, if you'll look at the bottom of the screen, you'll see what I call market segments. There's the healthy aging market, and it's huge, $162 billion market worldwide. The natural products market in the U.S. is $7 billion. Weight loss market is $108 billion in the U.S., skincare $3.2 billion in the U.S., and the green household market $640 million. Every one of these market segments are going up. They are all expanding. So is there competition? Sure, there's competition. by the way, I think competition is great. I think it's great because it really makes a company really do better, to really make sure that they're doing the right things. And when we come up against competition in the field, because our folks, they know so much about our products that we're going to win most of the time. Are we back again? Can everybody see the screen?
Yep, you're good.
Okay, good. All right.
You're good.
Okay. We're not your typical business. The network marketing business is not your typical business. We don't have to have employees. We don't have to have a retail space. We don't have to have a large inventory. There's no geography limitations. And there's limited risk because of the amount of money it takes to get started in a Shaklee business. So we're not your typical business. We get paid, very simply, we get paid for recommending products and for supporting people's growth. Now, it really sounds simple. Maybe not as easy as it sounds, but it really is simple. We get paid for recommending products and supporting people's growth. Here's the multiple streams of income I was talking about. This is what I first saw when I looked at this sales plan 6 years ago, was that there are multiple streams: retail and price differential, personal group bonuses, leadership bonuses, true infinity bonuses, career track bonuses, success bonuses, luxury trips, and car bonuses. We're going to talk about each one of these in detail. So there's 4 unique pay plans. There's the base compensation plan, sponsoring incentives, career track bonuses, cars, and trips. This really is a powerful and competitive earning model. So let's talk about the base plan. There's 4 streams of income within the base compensation plan. It's the retail and price differential. It's the personal group bonuses. It's the leadership bonuses and true infinity. So first of all, price differential. Price differential is where you buy products at one price and you sell it at another, and you earn the difference. This is probably one of the things that bothered me most about what I hear a lot of times, is that people give this away. They give away the price differential. And I really don't understand it, because it's a lot of money that is associated with this price differential, and I'll show you what I mean. So, as a business owner or a director, and the DP to me is director price, and the MP is member price, and SRP is the retail price. So if you're a business owner and you're selling your products at retail, you're going to make 27%. Actually, it's probably a little more than that. I just made this difference between the member price and the director price 12%. It's more. It can be up to 15, but I put it in at 12. So you can make 27%. So if you're a director, again, director price, and you have members in your organization and they're buying at member price, you're going to make 12 to 15% on what they purchase as well. That's a big number. We just a real quick story. We have a third-level director that we just appointed a few months ago. Her first bonus check in Shaklee as a director was over $1,500. Of that $1,500, almost $700 was price differential. I know directors that don't even make $700. She made it in price differential because the people in her organization are at member price, and she's the only one at director price. So that's retail and price differential. Now let's talk about personal group bonuses. Now that personal group bonuses are based on the volume that you and your entire personal group, including your customers, generate each month, and then you earn a monthly commission on that total volume. So here's the commissions that you can earn. So the more sales that you and in your group, so it's not just you, but it's you and your group generate. So the more sales, the higher your percentage. So if you and your group have 250 PV, you're going to get 4%. If it's 1,500 PV, 14%. And then the 2,000 PV at 20%, this is when the 20% is when you become a sales leader or a director. So if you add that to what we've already talked about, now you're at 47% in base earnings as a business owner. Not bad. Not bad at all. 47% if you're selling at retail. 12% less if it's a member price to distributor price. So build your personal group. Now, you don't have to sponsor everybody in your personal group. In this case here, if you take a look at here's you, this person sponsored these 3 people and sponsored that person. You can see the arrows going to them. And then these people sponsored people who sponsored people who sponsored people. So you may end up only sponsoring 3 or 4 people in a group of 30 people or so, and because everybody else is sponsoring people as well. So build your personal group. And then the first step is becoming a director. And you can be appointed a director when your personal group reaches and maintains a minimum monthly volume of 2,000 or more. In our organization, we really don't appoint directors until they're at 2,500 to 3,000 PV. We sit down, we talk to them about that, we explain why, and they all buy into it because they want to be solid. They don't want to go up and down and not make it each month because they're right on the hairy edge. So they go, hey, we get it. That's what we want. We want to be solid when we become directors. So directors earn more. 3 additional profit sources. They purchase products at a lower price. That's the director price. They pricing profits on the sale of the entire personal organization, and that's your retail and price differentials. And then they earn commissions at the higher rate of 20%. So you're going to earn more money as a director. So even more director benefits. You know, now you're a director and you're making some money. So you've got a little bit extra money so you can enjoy the full range of products for the entire family. We call this free product level plus, so that you can really Shakleyize your home. Because now you've got some money and you're using the profits from your business to really Shakleyize your home. And then you have access to the tax benefits of business ownership. Even before I got involved in Shaklee, I told Barb, don't you ever get out of Shaklee because we can't afford it from a tax standpoint for you not to be in Shaklee. Great benefits from a tax standpoint. And then access to additional opportunities for paid travel, car bonuses, and extra incentive income. All right, we've talked about price differential. We've talked about personal group bonuses. That's 2. Now we're going to talk about leadership bonuses. So once you reach that director level, that business owner level, then you develop other business leaders that are in your personal organization, and you can put them out. You can appoint them when they have PV in their group of people that they've sponsored that is over 2,000. So you can earn a monthly bonus on the volume of each of these leaders up to 6 generations. 6 levels down. And I'll show you something a little bit later that will really make that apparent. So the next step is work with your team, support others in becoming directors, and achieve their own, and I'm going to say 2,500 to 3,000 points or more. So here's what it looks like. So this is you, and these 3 people here directly under you. So you sponsored these people directly, so they are first level to you. So the leadership bonus in this example would be 6%. So let's say that they were each making 3,000, they're 3,000 PV, each one of them, 3,000 PV directors, each one of these. 6% bonus is $180. $180, $180, $180. I think you can see where this is going. let's take a one more level. So now these people here, these first levels to you, they said, okay, hey, we want to do the same thing. So the people that they have sponsored they've appointed people that are now second level to you, first level to them. And in this particular example, it would be also 6% on the leadership bonus for these second levels. I'll show you a chart later on to show you where it really starts. Here is our focus. We don't focus just on directors or on volume. That is a function of the business. Now, we celebrate when someone has a great month on volume. We celebrate that. When people break out and are appointed director, we celebrate that. But that's not our focus. Our focus is this right here, and this would be a Shaklee rank of Senior Executive Coordinator. So our focus is Executive, Senior Executive Coordinator. Do you realize that if you put out 4 Executive Coordinators and add a couple directors with that, you're a Master Coordinator? 3 Senior Executives and a couple directors, and you're a Master Coordinator. So this would be the bonus schedule for the leadership bonuses for this particular example, the Senior Executive Coordinator. So for the first and second levels, you get 6% on these, you get 4% on these, you get 3% on these. So you can see where this really starts to build up. Now you're into, when you get to this level and you're an executive or senior executive coordinator, this is career income. I'm telling you, this is career income. This is $60,000, $70,000 level, $80,000 in some cases. So let's talk about true infinity bonus. Here's another way that you can make money. This is a bonus program that's in addition to your leadership bonus. And there is no level on this one. This one goes down. The reason why they call it infinity is because if you have a director or sales leaders that are 10 levels below you, 15, 20, you're going to get a bonus based on their volume, So no one has this. You know why I can say that? It's because this bonus program is patented. Not only does Shaklee patent products and processes, they patent bonus programs. I don't know if anybody does what Shaklee does, but no one can grab some of these products that we've got out there right now because they're patented. No one can do that. They're ours. Unbelievable. I mean, no, it is believable. Okay, let me show you this chart. It's a little bit busy, but let's try to get through it because it's important to show you where the leadership bonus and where the infinity bonus kicks in. Now, these titles here, these are the Shaklee ranks from director to presidential master coordinator. So if you haven't heard about these, you will at some point in time. And then the number of business leaders that you have to attain that rank are these here. So for a senior director, you'd have to have 1 business leader. For an executive coordinator, you'd have to have 3. For a master coordinator, 6. For a presidential master, 10. And then OV is the organizational volume. So that's your volume in your personal group, and all of the sales leaders downline from you, what you add all of that together, and that's your organizational volume. So when you get to some of these ranks, not only do you need some business leaders, but you also have to have a certain amount of organizational volume to go along with that. Okay. If you look at the next one, excuse me, if you look at the next one, in black here is the leadership bonus. So first level to you is all at 6%. The infinity bonus kicks in at senior coordinator. That's in the red, 2%. Every time you go up in rank, then your infinity bonus increases up to a maximum of 8%. But again, it goes down forever if you have sales leaders down. The leadership bonus only goes down 6. The infinity bonus goes down forever. Okay, and then let's look at the far right-hand column, and this just gives you the average income of these different ranks in Shaklee. So the average income for a director is about $10,217, and that's based on the 1099s of all the directors last year. and so forth, all the way down to Presidential Master Coordinator. So you can kind of see where these are. Okay. Success bonuses, brand new programs, just came out in August. It's an immediate source of income paid daily for building your group. So the first one is preferred members. So you can earn a $25 success bonus every time you sponsor 3 new preferred members within a rolling 3-month period. So if this is October and you sponsored somebody and they had 150 PV and they put it on auto ship, then that's one. And then the next month would be November. You sponsor another one, again 150. A third one on January, 150, and put it on auto ship, and you get $25. So that's the preferred member bonus program. And then there's a qualified distributor program as well. So every time you sponsor a qualified distributor, and a qualified distributor is the person who joins with a $49.95 new distributor welcome kit, and they purchase one or more of the success packs within their first calendar month. If you do that in each month, 3 months in a row, you'll get $50, $50, $50, $150. If you do that in 3 months, then Shaklee will pay you an additional $150 or $300. So that's the qualified distributor success bonus program. Let's talk about the career track or fast track. This is extra bonuses. We've already talked about all this other money. Now this is another one that can really add up quickly if you get on the fast track. And it's during your first 36 months after you become a director. So one of the things that's important is that before you become a director, or the month that you become a director, is that you make sure you're a qualified distributor for 2 reasons. Number one, you have to be a qualified distributor in order to be on fast track. You have to be a qualified distributor in order to sponsor internationally. And right now, internationally means Canada, U.S., and Mexico.
It's a distributor, and what I can do is with the...
All right, fast track bonus. Let's talk about fast track. This is just an amazing program, I think. So once you become a director, then you have 6 months in order to become a senior director, which means you have one director directly under you, one sales leader that you sponsored that is directly under you. You've appointed them as a director, their first level. You're going to get $1,000 in cash. Now, that's paid out over 10 months, so it's $100 a month for 10 months from Shaklee. And if you have the requisite amount of organizational volume of you and your senior director, you'll qualify for the new directors conference, which is not to be missed. 3 months after you become a senior director, 9 months from the time you were a director, you make coordinator. Now that's 2 first levels directors directly under you. You should have enough points at that point for the dream trip to Los Cabos, Mexico, and $3,000 in cash, again paid out in 10 months, $300 a month for 10 months. This one here continues. And then 3 months after that, senior coordinator. 12 months from the time that you first made director, you make senior coordinator. If you do that, you're going to get a $5,000 cash bonus paid out over 10 months. Again, 2 first levels, your organizational volume has to increase. And then executive coordinator, 15 months from the time that you first made director or 3 months after you make senior coordinator, you make executive coordinator. Now that's 3 first level directors directly under you. You're going to get a $10,000 bonus, cash bonus from Shaklee paid out over 10 months. These all continue. 3 months after that, or 18 months from the time you were a director, you make senior executive coordinator, $15,000 bonus there, paid out over 10 months. And then they give you 6 months to become a key coordinator. Now that's 4 first levels, and your organizational volume of all of those directors in your organization and your personal group, the OV has to be 50,000. If you do that this year, you're going to China. This is the year of the key. Key coordinators who make key coordinators are if you're a key and you make senior key, you make master, you make senior master, you're going to go on the China trip. And you're going to get a $15,000 cash bonus. Then they give you 6 more months to make senior key, 5 first-level directors under you, and 75,000 OV. You're going to get another 15,000. And then 6 months after that are 36 months in the program from the time that you made director, you make master coordinator. You're going to get a $25,000 cash bonus paid out over 10 months. You're going to get a San Francisco corporate welcome. Barb and I we will never forget this one when we made master. They picked us up from the airport in a limo, took us to a 5-star resort in downtown San Francisco, beautiful suite. They picked us up that evening in a limo, took us to Roger and Sloan Barnett's home for dinner. That one you'll never forget. And then the next day they picked us up in the limos again. They took us to the home office. Everybody, all the employees were outside. They were screaming and hollering and clapping and yelling. There were lights. There were cameras. There was a red carpet. It's now a green carpet. It's welcoming us as new master coordinators. It is so amazing that it's something you will never, ever forget, and it's worth becoming a master coordinator for. So if you do that in the 36 months, that's an additional $89,000 in cash that you're going to make from Fast Track. That's in addition to all the other things we've already talked about. Okay, but that's not all. So you were on Fast Track, and you did all of this, and then you put people out as directors under you, first level. Now, this is all first level, and they said, well, if you were on Fast Track, I want to be on Fast Track. So they get on Fast Track, and they start getting bonuses every 3 months, every 6 months, whenever it got down to the key level. But this only goes down, this 50% match only goes down to the senior executive coordinator level. So if a first level to you was on Fast Track and they became senior, or they would get $100 or $1,000 in bonus, you would get $500. If they got $5,000, you'd get $2,500. So you get 50% of whatever they got up to senior executive coordinator. So that's another $17,000 you can make just in match, and that's unlimited, depending on the number of first levels that you have that are on Fast Track. You get the match. Every time they get a bonus, you get half of it. They get the whole bonus, but you get a match of it. Okay, let's talk about cars and trips. Travel in style while you build your business. This is the bonus car program. It starts when you become a senior director, which means you have one director, first level to you at least. And the bonus that you can receive is between $225 to $250. $250 is a hybrid. The higher number is always the hybrid. When you become a senior coordinator, it goes to $375. Senior executive coordinator, $450 a month. Senior key, $500 a month. Master, $600. And then when you become a presidential master coordinator, the bonus program is over. They just give you the keys to a brand new Mercedes hybrid. They lease a car for you. So it's not a bonus program anymore. It's a real car, and it's a Mercedes. Paradisus Los Cabos Hotel. They just redid this thing, from what I understand, less than a year ago. It's absolutely gorgeous. That's the dream trip that if you qualified this year, that you will go next year in 2018. We don't know where 2019 is yet. We'll find that out. But this is where we're going I believe it's April. Yes, April of next year. And if you've ever been on a Shaklee trip, it's just hard to explain that you don't take any money with you. I mean, everything is paid for: your room, your travel. You go into a restaurant, you order a dinner, maybe a nice glass of wine, little dessert. When you're finished, you get up and walk out. There is no bill. There is no bill. When Barb and I were last in Cancun, and we walked out of the place when it was all over with, and we went and we checked out, our what we owed was zero. It's amazing to go on these Shaklee trips. They are just phenomenal. And like I said, this is the year of the key, and this is where the Top Achievers trip is for 2018. I believe it's in May, Barb? Yeah, I think it's May this year that they're going to China. They're going to have dinner on the Great Wall. It's just going to be amazing what they do for the people that make the Top Achievers trip. So, multiple streams of income. Boy, this really resonated with me. We talked about the base compensation plan. We talked about the career track bonuses. We talked about the sponsoring incentives. We talked about the cars and trips. Do you want to earn a little, or do you want to earn a lot? It really depends on the amount of time and effort that you put into this, because we've got a proven process that works, that can get you started right away. Joanne and Terry know this process. They know how to do this. They know how to do this business. If you people that are on this call tonight, if you want to take this up and you say, I want this as a career, they'll help you do that because they know how. So that's the compensation plan. Thank you very much. Are you there, Joanne?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was on mute. I didn't. I am here. I'm not in China yet.
I thought maybe I'd put you to sleep.
Actually, I love our marketing plan. And when I first was introduced to Shaklee, I wanted $50 a week extra, Ray. Yeah. I was a real big thinker. And so, however, the person who introduced me to Shaklee showed me the total program. Even though I only wanted $50 a week extra, he went through the whole business model, and I saw the possibilities. And after he went through the whole kind of thing that you just went through, I looked at him seriously and I said, can I make $50 a week at this thing?
That's great.
So what happened was I kept adding zeros. I said, if I can make that $50 a week, I know I can make $500 a week. If I can make $500 a week, I can make $5,000 a week. And that's exactly what I did. So for those of you on the call, when I saw the sales plan, I saw the possibilities. I didn't fully understand it until I earned it. So understand that we'll take one step at a time. We do have new people on the call. We'll help you make that first dollar figure that you're going to shoot for. We'll help you. We work together as a team. Actually, we work for you. We work for you to help you to achieve the kinds of dreams that you want out of this Shaklee business opportunity. We're just so excited about it, and it never seems to stop because there is no stop. There's no glass ceiling. We have unlimited possibilities and opportunities. And I want to thank Barb and Ray so much for joining us this evening. Harry?
Well, I ditto everything she said, and that's always a good thing for a husband to say about a wife. But Joanne introduced me to Shaklee as I was getting out of the corporate world, and it represented a great deal of respect that she showed me by taking the time to walk me through the sales plan and do the kind of presentation that very similar to the one that Ray did for you all tonight. All I can say is that after sitting through a number of Shaklee meetings, what dawned on me was the sales plan through the opportunities that it presents. These streams of income are fabulous, and the longer you're with Shaklee, the greater those dollar figures mean something to you and your family. So stick with it. It's worth thinking about, and it's worth doing. And now I'm going to ask you to make a note. And our next call our next webinar, like we had tonight, similar to it, not exact, but similar, will be presented by Joanne Boltinghouse, Master Coordinator, and it'll be the Wednesday, the 8th of November of this year. So without any ado, I'll turn it back to Joanne, and again, Ray and Barb, thanks a million.
All right, everyone. Well, thank you for joining us. We are ending early, and they've done a magnificent job. Great leadership from the Medorans Kindred Spirits organization. And again, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. And thanks again, Barb and Ray, for contributing this evening. Good night, everyone.
Good night. Thank you.
Thank you.